Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the, part two of the 2019 Top Cider Producers list for this year. Obviously, if you're watching this, you've watched part two, part one, should I say. This is part two. But if you haven't, check that first, because then you'll know what's going on with this list. But for those of you that have already seen part one, now, let's get into the big boys. Let's get into the top 10. Now, there are two new cider producers to the top 10, so these guys have definitely made a really big impression on me to make it this high so early on in their in their listings and everything. So, there's going to be a couple of movers, a couple of shakers, but has it disturbed the top spot? Well, keep on watching and you'll find out. But let's start off the proceedings with number 10. Number 10 is, actually, the first of the two new cider producers that have made the list. And for this, I actually have to thank Crafty Nectar for us, supplying me with these. They sent over a box of 12 ciders for me to try, and 3 of them were from this company. And with an average score of 8.0, so as you saw in the previous list, the last two scored 8.0, but again, these guys just slightly pipped them to the post, and that is Pulped Cider Company. Now, if you're talking about eye-catching labels, then Pulped have definitely got an eye-catching label. On the offset, it looks quite plain, like their verve, their level, and their union. They're just like, different coloured X's on the front. But on the side of the bottle, you've got a tasting graph that basically shows you just sort of what to expect from each cider. And you can see, one of them's going to be more bitter than the other. One of them's going to have a lot more acidity. This one's going to be pretty sweet, but overall quite mellow and even on its flavours, which I think is a really cool touch. My only downside to it is that I just wish they came in bigger bottles. They come in 330ml bottles, and sort of selfish, but I really could have just had so much more of their ciders because they are just absolutely superb. They've just released a new one called Flair, so that sounds interesting. But yeah, thank you very much, Crafty Nectar, for sending them out to me, and thank you for introducing me to the Pulped Cider Company. They definitely made a good impression on me, and that's why they've taken the number 10 spot with 8.0, so well done, Pulped. Number 9 has essentially been on this list since the very beginning. They were 8th last year. They've just gone down a spot. In fact, pretty much all of these next few ones have just gone down a spot. So, with an average score of 8.16, they just slightly beat the last 3 cider producers, and that is Turner's Cider Company. Now, going from quite bold and different labels to, quite basic labels, essentially. Their labels are essentially Turner's Sweet Cider made with Kentish apples. That's basically all you get. But, do you know what? That's all you need to know, because the cider definitely tells you all that you need to know, and, they're just absolutely superb ciders. What can I say? They're sweet, they're dry, they're medium. I didn't quite get around to trying their, their spiced cider. I didn't quite get around to trying. But their elderflower was a great example of an elderflower cider, unlike a couple of other companies where they go far too heavy on the elderflower and just destroys anything that might have been considered a cider. Just so well balanced. Their russet, that just blew my head off, but in a good way. So, yeah, I do believe there are a couple more of their range that I've yet to try. Hopefully I will in the future. But if you see Turner Cider Company, give them a go. That's why they've got the number 9 spot with 8.16. So keep up the good work, Turners, and I'm sure you'll stay in the top 10 for many years to come. Number 8. Now then, this is going to be a bit of a different one. So these guys were 7th last year. They've got an average score of 8.33. And it's sort of, I'll tell you who it is first. The number 8 spot is Beard and Sabre Cider Company. Now, The only reason I have my trepidations with these guys is that they have essentially completely rebranded themselves. I mean, totally. Their old range is completely gone. You can't get a hold of them anymore. They're, what is it? They're Berry Master. They're, I think it was like Black Crow or something like that. They're gone. They've got a completely new look, and they are totally solely focusing on hopped ciders now. So, yeah, bit of a change, really. So, yeah, unfortunately, all of their range you basically just can't get a hold of anymore. So, if I can get a hold of their hopped ciders, I will definitely give them a go. But this is where things come into play. Do I take consideration that they basically don't make the ciders that have given them an 8.33 anymore? Because they were fantastic ciders. This is the thing that gets me. They were absolutely superb ciders, and no one's going to be able to get a hold of them anymore. So, is it sort of a forfeit thing for next year in that, well, if you can't get a hold of their ciders, then they shouldn't be on the list? It'd be interesting to hear your comments below, actually. And again, if I do get a hold of their hopped ciders and give them a go, I might re-rate them. I'll see. I'll see what you guys think. But their old range definitely gave them the score of 8.33, and they definitely do deserve the 8th spot for their old range. But yeah, as I said, that's it for now. Beard and Sabre, they have the number 8 spot. Will they be there next year? Will they be on the list next year? That's up for you guys to decide. Number 7 has been in the top 10 since the very beginning. They were 6th last year. They've just gone down a spot, but with an average score of 8.66, that's still fantastic. It's the Garden Cider Company. Now, the one thing that I love about the Garden Cider Company is that they basically make all their ciders from donated apples, essentially. Apples that would have just gone to waste, that maybe they were windfall in someone's orchard or garden, and they were essentially just going to be left to rot. Well, instead of doing that, get them over to the Garden Cider Company, and they're going to turn them into absolutely fantastic ciders. I mean, they also do a hopped cider, or they did do a hopped cider, which was fantastic. They've got quite a few flavours. In fact, I think I've got another one in my drinks cabinet, so this rating might change next year. But yeah, plum and ginger, that's the one that stands out for me, because, well, plum and ginger, that I've had a couple of plum ciders before, and, well, they weren't very good. But my faith was restored with Garden Cider. They obviously know how to make just such fresh tasting ciders with natural ingredients, and they all taste absolutely lovely. So that's why they've got the number 7 spot on this list with 8.66 Garden Cider. There we go. Number 6, they were new last year, I do believe, because I had a couple of their ciders many years ago, and I just recently acquired some more. They were 5th last year, with an average score of 8.9, so just missing out on the 9 ranking is Crone's Cider Company. I'm very happy that I managed to get a hold of more of their range recently, because they are fantastic ciders. Most of their labels look exactly the same, but you know what? Again, it's one of those instances that the cider does all the talking. Their rum cask, I've had it both bag in the box and in bottle style, and both times it's just absolutely blown my head off with its potency. But you know what? I absolutely bloody loved it. Their Old Norfolk was also another fantastic cider. Their vintage is superb. What am I saying? All the ciders that I've had of theirs so far have been great, and I'm sure there's many more of their range, because they do have quite a range of ciders out there, and I'm sure that they are going to be equally as fantastic. So, and they're fairly local. I know that they frequent pretty much all the beer festivals that I go to around the area, so definitely going to keep a lookout for the rest of their range. But for now, number 6 spot goes to Crone's Cider Company. Number 5. Now, these guys, I think these guys were number 1 at pretty much on the first list, and they've just started sliding down the list a little bit. They were 4th last year, but again, the number 5 spot, you know, that is nothing to be sniffed at. With an average score of 9.0, it is the one and only Gwatkin Cider Company. I mean, what more can I say about this company that I haven't said about already? These were the guys that essentially, it was one of my first 9.5 out of 10s that I gave for their Yarlington Mill single variety. And as soon as I tasted that, I was like, okay, I need to get into more real ciders. I mean, yeah, their tastes aren't going to be to everyone because they definitely do have a unique taste to their ciders. But if you like it, well, you absolutely love it. And do you know what? There's so much more of their range that I have not reviewed on this channel, but I have tried off camera, and I can tell you now, they are all as equally fantastic as all the ones that I've had. Some of them you can't get a hold of anymore, but the ones that you can, especially their Yarlington Mill single variety, their Kingston Black single variety, their Blakeney Red Perry. Oh, fantastic. Although, slight spoilers, because I haven't actually reviewed it on my channel, but I've had it many, many a times off camera, and it is absolutely superb. So yeah, they are definitely going to be in the top 10 for many, many years to come, I'm sure. And the number 5 spot easily goes to Gwatkin Cider Company. Number 4. Now, I think these guys were number 1 at some point as well, but again, they've just started going down the list a little bit. They were 3rd last year, and again, with an average score of 9.0, these guys actually slightly overtook Gwatkin for me as, like, you know, one of my favourite cider producers out there that I can get, like, frequently, and that is Duncans Cider Company. Again, I have shouted from the rooftops about how amazing Duncans Cider Company are. What they don't know about making ciders isn't worth talking about, to be fair. And the great thing is, I've got 2 more of their ciders in the drinks cabinet to review as well, so they might go up even further. And you know, and they actually, because one of the ones that I didn't get around to trying was their Kingston Black single variety. They only went and sent 3 bottles for me, didn't they? So 1 to review and 2 to just enjoy by myself. I've not had any yet because I want to wait until the review. I don't want to spoil, don't want to spoil it. So I'm waiting until I review it before I actually have the rest of them. And then I've got their vintage, which I got from New Forest the cider stall in Borough Market. I think that is essentially all their range, although they have just recently had a rebranding, and you know what? I thought the old labellings looked sublime and quite classy, but they've definitely outdone themselves with the labelling this time. They just look absolutely superb, and I think they've got a new one out. I could be wrong there. But number 4 spot, if you've not tried Duncans, you can get their Black Fox cider from pretty much any Waitrose store out there, so do yourself a favour, go there now and buy a bottle. You'll absolutely love it. So, number 4 spot goes to Duncans. The number 3 spot is the second of the 2 new cider companies to make the list. And well, to basically come in straight in at number 3 from out of nowhere, it must show that these guys have made a massive impact. Massive impact, but tiny bottles. I am talking about, well, with an average score of 9.1, I'm talking about Big Nose and Beardy. My goodness. These guys just absolutely blew me away with their ciders. In fact, do you know what? I'm just going to go and grab them so you can see. But here we go, just so you can get an idea as to what we're talking about here. So, not only that, so you've probably seen this label on my channel before, but there you go. All their ciders come in these little 330ml bottles, but they are packed so full of flavour, so full of complexity, and so full of care and love that goes into the ciders. You can just tell that they pour their heart and soul into each and every one of these bottles. And that's not me just endorsing them, or, I mean, again, I'm so grateful to them, because not only did they send me one box of 6 bottles for me, they sent 2 6 bottle boxes. So they've sent me just 12 ciders. Just nothing back. Just enjoy the ciders. And do you know what? I'm just so grateful to them for doing that to me. But that hasn't clouded my judgment on the rating or anything, because they do just produce such amazing quality ciders. Boar's Head, Hedgerow, Hazy Daisy, they've just been phenomenal so far. Their Katie Oak single variety, which the one I had was just like super ultra rare. But as you can see, I've got a bottle of their Little Shepherd. I've got 3 more, I think 3 or 4 more of their range to review as well. So they could go up even higher than the number 3 spot. But that's going to have to wait until next year. You'll have to wait and find out. But coming in straight in at number 3 with an average of 9.1 is Big Nose and Beardy. Well done, guys. So, the number 2 spot. Obviously, one of the 2 new cider producers hasn't made the top spot, but have the 2 spots changed since last year? Well, I can tell you, with an average score of 9.12, they were second last year, and so they're second this year as well. So, for 2 years in a row, it's Wallys Cider Company. Kind of spoiled what number 1 is going to be if you watched last year, but let's not talk about that just yet. Let's just talk about Wallys and just how amazing Neil Worley is with his cider making. Just an absolutely fantastic, superb cider company, and well, essentially. Well, I mean, what else can I say? They just produce such fantastic ciders. You know, their Red Hen, their Rocky Road, which I haven't actually reviewed, but I have had a couple of times. Their Beatnik Billy and their Harvest Moon. I mean, their labelling is fantastic as well. And then their Mendip Hills is, I'd probably say it's my favourite of their range, just for how balanced but how complex of a cider it is as well. The one I really want to try is their Special Reserve, which comes in like 750ml bottles, because again, it looks absolutely fantastic. But do you know what? If I can get a hold of Mendip Hills or their Red Hen, because sometimes my local pubs have them on tap, and I'm like, I don't care what else is on the list, I'm going straight for that Wallys. I do not care. Just superb quality. Again, you can just tell that so much care goes into their ciders, and their labelling is really cool as well. I love it's sort of simplistic again, but eye-catching. Instantly, it's like, what's that? I'm going to try that. So yeah, that's why Wallys still retains the number 2 spot on my list with 9.12. And you know what? I can't see that changing anytime soon. Well, unless Big Nose and Beardy has anything to do with it, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? So, yes, the number 1 spot hasn't changed from last year. These guys were first last year, and, well, it's going to take quite a bit of beating for them to be knocked off the top spot, because with an average score of 9.33, that's 0.2 more than Wallys, is Borough Hill Cider. These guys, I had wanted to try their ciders for years. They have been around basically since I started reviewing ciders. I kept on seeing Borough Hill, Borough Hill, Borough Hill. Borough Hill are fantastic. Borough Hill are superb. Borough Hill make fantastic ciders. And I'm thinking, I need to get a hold of some of these ciders. And I finally did. And I tell you what, I'm so happy I did. Wow. Just absolutely blew me away. It's just a shame that I think their cider bus is no longer at Glastonbury. Why? Why would you do that? Unless it is, in which case it's all fine. But if it's not, why? Well, yeah, their cider bus. Not only is it a really cool looking label and a really cool name, but it's also an absolutely top-notch cider. Because you think, you look at it and you think, well, it's going to be a pretty cider, but it's not. It really isn't. And their labelling is awesome. It sort of reminds me of like a 60s band band poster that they're advertising for themselves, like with their Borough Hill Somerset cider. It's got this like really cool tree and this hippie background and everything. But then on the other side, they've got really traditional looking labels, like their Perry, really traditional. Just got some pears on the front of it, really. But each and every one of them is top quality, top marks, and I'm sure there's more of their range that I've not tried yet. And well, I'm just really looking forward to doing it. So, yeah, well done, Borough Hill Cider Company. You've once again not reclaimed, but you've, what is it? Basically, you've stuck with the #1 spot for this year. So, yeah, it's going to take a bit of beating to knock you off the top spot, but anything can happen next year, can't it? Yeah, as I've already said, there are many, many more ciders from the cider companies that I've mentioned in the top 20 that I've yet to review. So I reckon that list is going to change quite drastically next year. And there's also going to be some new contenders coming into the list. I mean, I've got some Nempnet ciders. I didn't quite have enough of their range to form an average rating, but they're going to come onto the list. Where are they going to go? Who knows? But you're going to have to wait another year for that, aren't you? But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this little rundown of my top cider producers for the year. Maybe you've found your new favourite cider company from this list. Who knows? If not, maybe you've found some new ones that you've never heard of before, and you're going to go and give them a go. So, hopefully that's helped you guys out. But until next time, I'll be back with another delicious and tasty cider review for you soon. And speaking of Crafty Nectar, I think it's time I did their #8, isn't it? So, take care, guys. Till next time, I'll see you for a review of Crafty Nectar's #8.